can go and see there as well. Okay. Now let me screen share so that you guys can see as well. Okay, first concept that I want to go through with you guys is just a quick revision of algebra. All right. So I think we went through an algebra question last week, I think just for our notes, but can someone tell me what the two rules for algebra was? Like the two simple way of doing it.
Me?
Yep, Darsh. Go, Darsh.
So the first rule is letters on one side, numbers on the other.
Perfect. Letters on one side, numbers on the other. And rule number two?
Rule number two is whatever you do to one side, you do the opposite.
Yeah. When you move a number or letter, you do the opposite. Right? Now, these are not like proper maths rules, right? You don't open a maths textbook and you wouldn't see this in a maths textbook. And this is not perfect maths or anything. This is just like a simple way for you guys to understand it. Whose iPhone? Okay. Anyways, yeah. So that's just a quick revision of algebra. So I'll give you a really simple question. Let's see if you guys can do this. 2x plus 4 is equal to let's see. 3x minus 1. All right, send me the answer in the chat. Abir send the answer to everyone in the chat. It'll be interesting to see how many people will send me the same answer as Abir. Just to clarify, it's 2x plus 4 is equal to 3x minus 1.
Mervin, mine is probably unique. I don't think anyone has done the exact same one as I have.
Interesting. Just a reminder for everyone, please only unmute if you have a question. All right, so a lot of people have sent me the answers. Now, it's very interesting. A lot of people said the answer is 1. Now, let's see if it makes sense if the answer is 1. This is a way to check if your algebra is correct. If it was 1, this would be 2 times 1 plus 4 is equal to 3 times 1 minus 1. 2 times 1 is 2 plus 4 is equal to 6. Is that the same as this? Well, let's find out. 3 times 1 is 3 minus 1 is equal to 2. 6 is not equal to 2. So the answer cannot be 1. All right, so let's try it out using proper algebra. So as Darsh correctly told us, the way to solve it is letters on one side, numbers on the other side, correct? So the way I would go about it with it is, first I would want to move this number to the other side. So the negative 1 will become positive 1. So it'd be 2x plus 4 plus 1, right? If anyone has any questions as to why it's a negative 1 turns into positive 1, it's because of rule number 2. Then 2x plus 4 plus 1 is equal to 2x plus 5, right? 2x plus 5. And we're left with 3x. Next, I want to move the 2x across. and the positive 2x becomes negative 2x. So this becomes, 5 is equal to 3x minus 2x. And that becomes 5x is equal to 5 is equal to x. So x is equal to 5. Now to see if we did this correctly or not, let's take a look at the original equation. 2 times 5 plus 4. 2 times 5 is 10, plus 4 is 14. 3x, 3 times 5 is 15, minus 1 is 14. So this makes sense. So the correct answer is 5.
Excuse me, Mel.
Hello?
Excuse me, Mel.
Yes, Abir?
So the way I do algebra is that instead of putting the numbers on the left,
Mhm.
I would put the x's on the left. Is that fine?
That's completely fine. So those are called conventions. Does anyone know what a convention is? No. So a convention is basically how things are done. So for example, let me think. In cricket, when you play cricket, the convention is you flip a coin to decide who gets to bat first or bowl first, correct? It's just the way things are done. So in maths, there's a certain conventions, and the convention says that x should be on the left-hand side, and the number should be on the right-hand side. So Abir followed the proper maths convention. Now, convention is just a tradition. It doesn't affect the final answer. So the reason I moved the number to the left-hand side is because if I were to move it the other way around, the answer would look like this. Negative x is equal to negative 5. And then that would confuse a lot of you because you'll have to multiply the whole thing by a negative 1 to get x is equal to 5. So that's the only reason I didn't follow convention here. How many people got this correct? Let's see. 1, 2, 3. 3 people got it correct. Good job, guys. Perfect. Okay, next thing I'm gonna go through is a revision of volume, right? Now, what is a prism? Can anyone remember what a prism is? Yes, Sri? What's a prism, Sri?
A prism is basically something that has rectangles as its connecting shapes.
Nope.
A prism is something that is 3D and is like a no. Never mind.
Yeah. Shivani?
A prism is a 3D shape that has two same bases.
Perfect. And it's connected by pretty much a height. Okay.
Right.
So basically I can have any base, right? So I can have any base that looks like, I don't know, something like this, but as long as the top shape is the exact match and I connect them both, this is a prism, right? So what's cool about a prism, and the other factor about it that's cool about a prism is, let's just say I have a prism that looks like this, right? If I cut the prism anywhere along this height or this area, all the base shapes, all the cuts will have the same shape on the top. It'll all be a circle. You guys understand? And what's cool
Yes.
about it is, to find the volume of a prism, volume is equal to area of the base multiplied by the height. The area of the base multiplied by the height. Okay. Now, oops. Just to show you guys a few comments. You guys don't actually. I'm not going to say anything about anything, but let's just do a simple prism question. Let's just say we have a cylinder here, and the base is 5 centimeters squared. and the height is 10 centimeters. Can someone send me what the volume is in the chat? In the chat, send me the volume. Good job, Tessa. Good job, Tree. Good job, Aiden. All right. Thank you for sending those answers in. It's basically 5 times 10, which is 50 centimeters cubed, right? That's volume. Now, there's so many different types of volume, right? There's volumes of cylinders, volume of rectangular prisms, volume of triangular prisms, volume of cubes. They're all pretty straightforward. It's usually height times the area of the base shape. Okay. Next thing that I think we should go through, let me see. Oh, okay. Speed, distance, and time. All right. Do I have my cyber cop in the chat, Mr. Kieran? Are you with us? All right, Kieran. So, Kieran, can you tell me the formula for time?
Just wait, I'm turning up my volume.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have a license one.
Melvin,
Yeah.
Say it again.
So, Kieran,
Yeah.
what's the formula for time?
Oh, yeah.
Let's just say I'm traveling at a certain speed. So let's just,
How to measure time.
let's just say I'm a car traveling at 50 kilometers per hour, right?
Yep.
I'm traveling 100 kilometers. How do I find the time it takes to travel? It is?
You see how long you're going per hour. Wait,
Yeah, 50 kilometers per hour.
yes. So that means if you're going 100 kilometers per hour, then
No, I'm going 50 kilometers per hour and I'm traveling a total distance of 100 kilometers.
then it will take you 2 hours.
Yeah, but what's the formula? What do I put on the top? So what did you do? You did distance.
It was distance times slash, and then you do the speed. So 100 slash 50.
Is equal to 2 hours, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Cybercop. For the people who don't understand why I'm calling Kieran a cybercop, make sure to come to the mock exam next week and you'll find out why Kieran is a cybercop. All right. Is Jevin the supervillain in the chat with us? Okay, we have the supervillain's not joining us today. What about Deborah, the rocket scientist? Oh, oops. Deborah, are you in the chat? Are you here with us? Hello, Deborah. Okay, Deborah. Deborah, how do you find the distance of something? Let's just say I give you that a car travels 50 kilometers per hour, and I tell you that the car travels for 5 hours. How do you find the distance that it travels, Deborah? Yeah. Okay.
The thing is here.
All right, Tessa.
You do 50 kilometers times 5.
Perfect. So that would be what, Tessa?
50 speed times
time,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
Perfect. Good job. And finally, if I want to find time, what is it? Oh, sorry, speed. What would I do? Joe. Joe? All right, Elena, how do I find speed?
You do distance divided by time.
Joe. Perfect. All right, so that's how you do speed, distance, and time. All right, let's see what else we need to go through. Okay, how do I find the probability of something? So let's just say, let's just say, okay, every year, 6,000 kids do the gait test. Out of it, 600 kids pass the gait test. All right. What's the probability of passing? Ahmed.
10%.
But what did you do? You did
6,000 divided by 600.
outcome divided by sample space. Do you guys remember what these terms meant?
Yes.
Yeah.
Outcome, Navazish? What's outcome, Darsh?
So outcome is like how many people, like what you want to happen. So like if the gate test 600 people passing is the outcome.
Yeah. So if you're trying to find the probability of passing, the outcome would be how many people passed, right? And what's the sample space? Let's see, Neelambury. Do you remember what sample space was? Neelambury, are you there? All right, Pav?
1/10.
No, what's sample space, Pav? Do you remember?
No.
What about anyone who remembers? Ahmed. Okay, what's Darsh?
Sample space is like what else could like how like so like you have the outcome of what you want to happen, but sample space is the possibilities of what else could happen.
So Timothy said it correctly here. Timothy said sample space is the total sum of all possible events, right? So all the pretty much in this question, all the kids that do the test is 6,000. So the probability you'd be 600 divided by 6,000, and that is equal to 10%. Do you guys understand?
Yes.
Okay, that's probability. Yes, Neelambury? Neelambury,
I accidentally put my hand up. I'll just lower it down.
okay. All right. Next, let's see. Ooh, mean, median, and mode. Does anyone remember how you find the mean or the average?
You do.
Me.
All right, Aiden?
You plus all the numbers that you have, and then divide it how much ever numbers you have.
Good man, yeah, good job. So it's sum of all the numbers. You add up all the numbers, and then you divide by the number of numbers. Right?
Melvin, so is it basically averages?
Sorry?
Is it basically averages?
Mean is, yep, you're right. Mean is another word for average. Does anyone remember what mode was? Hey, I didn't tell you guys a song. There's a really famous song that's like, it's like a nursery rhyme. That's the way I remember my mean, median, and mode, because I always forget. So I sing in my head, and the song basically is like, hey, the median's the middle. So the median is the middle number. You add and divide the mean. The mode is the one that
That you see the most.
The range is the
One that you see in between.
range is the difference between. Yep. So the mode is a number that you see the most. Most common number or most. Actually, I wouldn't say most common number. I would say most highest occurring number.
Range.
Highest occurring number. So it's a number that you see all the time, right? And then finally, the range is the difference between the highest and the lowest number. The highest number minus lowest number. So for example, I was looking at the homework marks for our class, right? The average score, I think, for the total homework score was around 65, I think. The most common occurring number was 70, pretty sure. The middle number, I don't remember exactly what it was. And the range was 100. So the lowest number was around 20, and the highest mark was around, I think, 120, I think, yeah, something like that. All right, so that's the range. So that's the mean, median, and mode. Do you guys understand that? Any questions?
Yep, I'm just taking a photo of it.
All right, no stress. What else should I go through? Oh, perfect. I should definitely go through this. Pretty sure you guys, a lot of you will not do this correctly. All right, so here's a question, all right? Don't shout out the answer, send it in the chat, okay? Ooh. Should I give you the actual mock exam question? That way you know the answer tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
please.
Yes.
All right. So this is a benefit for all the Zoom class students. Everyone else should have come, but nobody showed up, so they don't get it. Solve that question. Send the answer in the chat.
Melvin, do we need to simplify it?
Yes. Yeah, you need to simplify it. Actually,
Okay.
no. No, you don't need to simplify it. Don't simplify it.
Okay. Melvin, I got it wrong. Oh no, I didn't. My bad.
Again, Derek, just a reminder, you should only unmute yourself if you have a question.
Melvin,
Yes.
Hungry?
For this week's mock
No,
test,
you don't have to stop.
Yes.
for this week's mock test, will this exact question come up?
I don't know. I don't know. All right, so that should be enough time. I've got a lot of answers coming through. Let's give it a shot. So 3 plus 5 is equal to 8. 4 plus 6 is equal to 10. So the answer is 8 out of 10. Is that correct, guys?
Wrong.
No.
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 Ooh, interesting. Interesting. That's very interesting. Okay. Can Hansa tell me why I got it wrong? Or Hiresh Ramamurthy? Mr. Ramamurthy,
Yes, Melvin.
page is yours. Tell me why Melvin Tom got it wrong.
Because you should not add the bottom numbers. They're not the same. The,
So,
the denominators are not the same. If
Yeah.
they're not the same, you should not add them. If they're the same, you can just put them under the denominator, the same number.
Now that they're not the same, what do I do? Do I do 8 over 4 and my answer is my answer 8 over 4 and 8 over 6? Is that my answer?
No.
So what should I do, Mr. Ramamurthy?
So if you see the 6, you bring it to the 3, do an arrow to the 3.
Okay. I'll do that. So let me draw an arrow to the 3. Yeah.
You times 6 there. Times 6.
Times 3 is 18.
And then do the same to the 4 times 6.
4 times 6.
4 times 6 is 24.
Oh, okay. So 4 times 6. So that gives me 18 over 24. Okay.
And then 4 times this way, 4 times 6 that way to
Ooh,
5.
Yeah.
And then that'll be 20 and then 24.
Ooh, okay, interesting. So now I have 20 over 24.
And then you add them to get 24, so it's the same now. 24 and then add so it is 38. 38.
Okay.
24.
The answer
That's
is
the answer.
Right?
Yep.
Right. Now,
Is that right?
Yeah, this is correct. I can simplify it. I can simplify it to what? 19 over 12?
Yeah.
Can I any further, ladies and gentlemen? 19.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I did it a different way.
Yeah, 19 is a prime number, so you cannot simplify it any further.
You know what I did?
So what you can do is you can take away the 12 away, and now we can have 1 and 7 over 12. So these are all individually, they're all correct answers. Let me give you a tick to myself so I feel happy. And I'll give myself a big X because I got this one wrong. Actually, that's not big enough.
Excuse me, Mel.
Yes, I'm excused.
I did it LCM, the lowest common multiple instead.
Yep, so let's do that one. So that method, basically, now what Hirash did here by multiplying the top and the bottom by the same number, this is really hard when I get a big number like this. Let's just say my question was 6 over 19 plus 13 over 215. If I have to multiply 215 by 6 and then 215 by 19, it's very, very hard. So you shouldn't, like, it will take you way too long. So what you should do is you should do this thing called LCM, lowest common factor. Oh, sorry, multiple. Oops. Multiple. LCM. So what's the lowest multiple that they both share? For 4's multiples are 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. 6's multiple is 6, 12, 18, and 24. The first one that they both share is 12. So instead of multiplying 3 over 4 by 6, you multiply this by 3, and you multiply this by 3. And this side, you multiply the top by 2 and the bottom by 2. You guys understand? That's the lowest common multiple. Yep, good
Can you
job.
give us another one?
Another
Why
one?
did you,
Yeah.
Right, I can do it.
Melvin,
Yes, that's my name.
why did you times 3 and then times 2 on the other side?
By
Because
2.
it's
As in, why did I times by 2 on the other side?
because 6 times 2 equals
Yes.
12.
One sec. Sorry, someone's speaking, and I think I'm the teacher here. So, what was the question? Sorry, who was asking the question, and what was the question?
It was me, Aiden. I was asking why did you times 3 on the left side and then times 2 on the other side?
Right, perfect. So what was the lowest common multiple that we found, Aiden? It was?
12.
Good man, good man. So the lowest number that they both share we found was 12, right? So what do you multiply 4 by to get you 12?
Oh.
4 times what gives you 12, Aiden?
4. 4 times 3 equals 12.
Good job. And then 6 times what gives you 12? 6 times
6.
2 gives you 12,
6.
right?
6.
6 times 2 gives you 12,
Yeah.
right? Perfect.
Yeah.
And that's why we did multiply one side by 3 and the other side by 2. You see that?
Okay.
Are you sure you understand?
Yes.
All right. Okay. I'll give you another one of those types of questions. Let's see. Bum, 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 bum.
Then do we answer in the chat?
Yep. All right. Let's do another one of them.
Melvin,
That's my name.
how do you put the answer in the chat? Because I can't like put 41 and then put the line between the
Oh,
answer.
just put the okay, just put them as 2 different numbers in. That's easier
Okay.
for you. Or you can you can't find it. But there is a button. It's usually under the question mark on your keyboard.
Okay. Thanks.
It's a flat- All right. Yeah. Thank you, Kieran. Okay, let's see. 5 over 24 plus well, actually, I don't want to make it too hard for you. We don't want to waste too much time. Okay, 5 over 6 plus yeah. Oh, I want to make it hard, but not too hard. Okay, 8, and then make this 6. This will be 5 as well. There you go. 5 over 8 plus 5 over 6. Actually, you know what I'll do? I'll make it even harder. Oh, actually, oops. There you go. That's the final question. I'm not going to change it again. Try that.
How do you do that?
Wait, is it subtract?
Yes, Mr. Ramamurthy. Subtraction.
Actually.
What's that noise?
Okay, we got a few answers in. Let's give it a shot. So again, we need to find what their lowest common multiple is. Write down the multiples of 6. It is 6, 12. What else is there? 18,
24.
4, 30, 36, 42, and it goes on. 8, it is 8, 16, 32, 40. Did I miss something? Yeah, I missed
24.
Yeah, 24.
You
Sorry. I just skipped one. 24. I need to go back to primary school and learn my times table again. I think they messed up by accidentally promoting me. I think I forgot my times table. All right, so what's the lowest common multiple, guys?
24.
24.
24.
24.
Yeah.
24.
Perfect. So Aiden, 6 times what gives me 24?
4 and 3.
Good man. So I multiply this side by 4 and this side by 3. Good job. So rub that out. And now again, 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times 6 is 24. 7 times 3 is 21. 8 times 3 is 24. What? We messed up somewhere. Did I mess up somewhere? I messed up somewhere.
Yeah, the questions are 1 over 4.
-1 over 24. That's my fault. That's my fault. I should have thought about it properly. So the answer is -1 over 24. All right. Any questions, guys? Good job, Timothy.
Yeah,
Correct. Aaron got it. Prakash got it correct. Abir got it correct. Lakshmi, good job, Lakshmi. Joe, who's Joe? I don't know who Joe is, but Joe got it correct. Cristiano, you got it correct. Garrick, simplify it, man. Sharon, good job. All right, good job, ladies and gentlemen. All right.
Melvin.
Yes, Mr. Ahmed.
Can you do the way where you times the numbers? Because I want to get used to it.
When it comes like timesing of fractions.
Yeah.
So timesing of fraction, I won't go through it today. Just
No,
because
like the
it's
strategy where you do like 4 times 5 and then.
oh, right. What I just did here, right? Like
Yeah.
what same question that Aiden asked. Okay. Yeah, sure. I can go through that. So, okay. Actually, sorry, Ahmed. Just because I have few more things to go through, what I recommend, jump onto Khan Academy and practice it there. Just search up multiplication of fractions. I'm sorry, addition and subtraction of fractions, okay?
Okay.
All right. So I have a few more things to go through. And the next thing I want to go through with you guys is this. Here's my next question. 2 over 8 divided by 7 over 10. 2 over 8 divided by 7 over 10. Send your answers in the chat. Good job, Aishni.
Is it 2 over 8 minus 7 out of 10?
Nope, it's 2 over 8 divided by 7 over 10.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. Who's asking?
Aishini.
Okay. Oh, Aishini, by the way, if you can, come next week on Thursday for the mock exam.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. All right. I'm getting no answer yet. All right, Anish not found. I'll wait. Ooh, Lakshmi and Akansha. Akansha, I heard you're running in for an election against Alina. I heard Alina and Akansha are trying to be president in 2040. Hi, Hirash.
Melvin,
Yes,
I don't know how you get to divide this. Can you teach me?
sorry.
I don't know. I don't get this.
Yeah, I can go through. So,
Okay.
ooh, Kieran, you can't use a calculator.
You can?
You can't. You cannot. You're not.
Oh.
Melvin,
Yeah.
I just simplified my answer. Is that okay?
Okay. All right. I'll give you guys 2 more minutes and then we'll get started.
Are we bringing calculators in next week?
Nope. It's all mental maths.
Melvin, are we allowed to use a paper?
Nope. You're not allowed paper. You can use your exam booklet though. The booklet that we give you, the exam booklet, you can use anywhere on that booklet as working out paper.
Is that the same for gate, Melvin?
Yes, that is.
Didn't cheat.
As gate.
Melvin,
Yeah.
how did I use a calculator?
How to use a calculator?
No, how did I? You said I was using a
Because
calculator.
answer as 0 point something percent.
Yeah,
That's
because 2 divided by 7 doesn't work, so it equals 0 point something.
Oh, right. I thought you did it.
And I turned 0.7 into 10 divided by 28, but it still didn't work.
So I'll show you guys how to do this. So the method was called KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken, right? It's basically my favorite go-to food when I'm feeling hungry and I don't have that much money in my pocket, right? $10 for a lot of food, KFC, great deal. So you keep the left side as it is, 2/8. You flip the division to multiplication. And then you change 7/10 into 10/7. And then it becomes 2 times 10 is 20. My bad, not 10. 8 times 7 is 56. And then if you want, you can simplify it. And you get 10/28. You can get 5/14. There you go. And the answer is 5/14. So good job, Arya. Who else got this? Good job, Timothy. You're killing it today. You're doing so well. Good job, Deborah.
Wait, show
Good job.
us that. Can you show us that again?
Yeah, I can show that again. Wow. Deborah, Sharon, Joe, Alina, Timothy. You guys are all doing so well today. Arya, good job, Arya. Good job, Nilambre. So you keep, flip, and change. All right, one more. I'll give you one more of these types of questions. It's pretty straightforward. Let's try 5/6 divided by 1/2. Bum, 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 bum. Can you bring a planning sheet? No, you cannot. We will provide paper. Actually, Oh, I haven't bought the paper yet. I went and bought extra notebooks, by the way, for all the kids who didn't get it. Can you guys see me? So
Yes.
Yes.
No.
I bought more notebooks and I printed out the GATE exam, but I haven't bought writing paper. So I'll go buy that tomorrow morning when I collect the rest of the printing. So who hasn't, like, which classes didn't get their notebooks? Was it the Nolamara class and the Saturday class?
The Saturday class got it.
Okay. But I think some people ran out the second afternoon session. All right. So again, you keep the left-hand side, 5/6. You change it, division becomes multiplication, and you change 1/2 into 2/1. And this becomes 5 times 2 is 10. 6 times 1 is 6. So the answer is basically 10/6 or 5/3. All right, that's pretty much it. Yeah, Sam, I'll get you one next week. Oh, the Monday class didn't get it. Did you guys run out as well? All right, I'll bring some for the Monday class as well. I bought about 40 extra notebooks, so there should be more than enough for this term and next term.
Melvin, I have a question
Yeah.
about the mock exam. So we can't use a piece of paper to like work on. So we have to do it in our mind.
Yes, you have to do it in your mind.
Oh, okay.
Most of the questions you can. We do. Ooh, I don't want to show the paper too much. Wait, can I show it to you in a way that you won't? All right. Okay, I'll show you some of this. For example, this is one of the pages from the mock exam. There's space. Ooh, yeah, there's space here to do some working out. What? Can you see through that? Wow, you can see through it. All right. Yeah, so that's extra space you can use. Oh, I can't show you that. Oh, that's the back page. So that's the maths. Quick. I'm going to move around. You can read it. But do you see how there's space to write around for the maths paper? So
Melvin, Melvin,
yes.
if you wanted to show it to us, if you go into the more, you can go into background and filters, and you can turn on the blur so no one can see it.
Ooh, interesting. Thank you, Soha. All right. Joe, Abir, and Anish and Pav, you guys all have questions. I'll start with Joe, then Abir, then Pav. So Joe, what's up?
Oh wait, I forgot to lower my hand.
Okay, Joe. All right, moving on to Pav.
When's the
Exam?
no, the
Sorry, Pav?
when's the competition
What
for the
competition?
best booklet?
Oh, it's at the end of the year, Mr. Pav.
Oh,
Yes, sir. Abir, sir. Next question.
Is it going to be area or perimeter questions in the mock exam?
Yes. Sure. Aiden.
Can we use the front page as working out?
Yes, you can. Miss Nilambari.
In the mock exam, how many minutes do we get?
So 25 minutes per section.
Yeah.
Miss Navavish.
Wait, did you say 25 or 45?
25, Miss Shah.
Oh.
Navavish.
For the
Melvin?
I have two questions.
Yep.
My first question is, in the actual GATE exam, will we have leftover room in the booklet, like, or the paper that we get given to work it out, or will we have to do it mentally?
No, there's
So
some
that-
space.
GATE
So
exam?
Again, most of like they don't give you writing on paper, but you can write within the exam paper.
Wait.
And yeah,
And my second question is, will Maria revise everything this week?
no, I don't know exactly what Marie's plan for today is, but she can ask her when she comes on very soon.
Wait.
Yes, Anish?
Wait, what was it? Oh wait, no, I forgot. Like, just
Okay, iPhone.
Melvin,
Yes.
can you go through the questions in week 6?
No, unfortunately. Sorry, who was asking?
Ishan?
Oh, sorry, Ishan. So just because today I thought it'd be more useful if you go through a lot of the concepts for the mock exam tomorrow.
Can you do it on a paper and send it to my email?
Yeah. So
What's
today.
up? What's up?
Yeah. So today I'll send all the answer keys for all the papers today. Like so actually not today. Most likely tonight or tomorrow I will be sending all the answer keys.
Thank you.
That looks so cool. That is nice. Hi, Aishani. Yes, I do have the answers. I will be sending that soon. So Aishani, I think your mom might still be in the WhatsApp group. So if she's not, ask her if she can just jump on where we'll be posting the answers and everything in there.
Okay.
And also, Aishani and I think Aishani is the only one who's joining us from only online. Basically, just a reminder that the registrations for classes will open next week. It will open on the WhatsApp group, so it'll be open for all the current students first, and then only once you guys have had a chance to enroll for a week, will we open it on the general public. So Aishani, if you'd like to come in for in person next term, you can just jump onto that group.
Okay, I'll let my mom know.
Easy.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, guys, you guys have a 5-minute break. I'm passing the host to Miss Maria.
Excuse me, ma'am.
You're excused.
Wait, can I speak?
Yes, you can speak.
Like, do you have like any like recommendations of where to improve on your area or perimeter?
What do you mean by that, sir? Like, as in, like, which one you should focus on?
No. Like, how can you improve your like learning of area and perimeter? Like, how to ace area and perimeter?
Jump onto Khan Academy. Who said that, by the way, before I did? Well, whoever was, thank you for saying that. All right, Gayatri.
Melvin,
Yeah.
do you have a Samsung?
No, I have an
Wait,
iPad.
but your notes is different.
It is. That's a different app I'm using.
What app are you using?
It's an app called GoodNotes.
Oh,
Okay, Gayatri. You guys have a break, by the way.
For the notebook competition thing, is it like the inside and the outside, or is it just the outside or just the inside?
Everything.
Pardon?
Everything.
Oh, okay.
All right, I'll see you guys later.
Bye, Melvin.
Oh my gosh, look at these notes, guys. Wow.
Wow.
Oh my God, stop. You're really doing great things for my ego.
Pick
Okay.
Yes, guys. Do you guys think it's fair if Maria gets to take part in the Good Notes
Oh my
challenge?
God. I've been trying to convince him to let me take part in the note competition. Please let me take part. It would be such a joy.
I think Maria should join the notebook competition.
You
I think
can do it.
thank
but
you.
Maybe
Thank you. I think I should join
But then she
too.
would just
no,
win
she
it,
probably
Sticky.
win.
It wouldn't be
No, but-
fair.
Okay, you know what?
No.
Okay, you know what? Yeah,
You'd
yeah, yeah.
be
It wouldn't be
bullied.
fair.
She would
You're
win.
right. You're right. You're right.
No,
Hey, you
let
never
her
know. I'm
take-
still practicing. I'm still practicing.
Let her take part because
Oh
then
my god.
if she wins, she can get the prize, but then there can be a second winner.
Oh. So then I'm. You know what? I'll give Melvin some judging tips. Don't worry, guys. I'll give Melvin some judging tips.
Make sure
I-
that
I think they should do a teacher's notebook prize and a student's notebook prize.
It is no
yeah, that
Ooh.
would be good.
Guys, stop. I can get really competitive. You don't want to start that.
Okay, bye.
All right, we'll start at 6:01, okay? I'll just make sure that everybody is here because I know you guys had a break.
Where did you just go?
Me?
Yeah.
Where was I?
Yeah,
Like,
you look
about
as if you just went you look as if you just went out somewhere.
I did. I had a full day of tuition today, helping lots and lots of little children around the world do well in English. Mhm.
English.
Yep.
Can you send this
Oh, yes. So I have a note about all the notes that because I know that last week's missing and the week before that is missing. Melvin and I have decided that the best way to give you all the notes is in a booklet because I think some of you will notice that when I'm teaching, a lot of what I say isn't actually on the notes. But what I've done is I've done voice to text and it's converted. So I'm going to add my voice to text to each of the notes and then put it in one big giant booklet and get it to you by Wednesday latest. All right. Yeah. Oh, 6:01.
If you Maria,
Yeah.
not everybody is here.
Yeah. I'm sorry, you cut off.
My iPad's lagging a bit, so can I just leave and go?
Yeah, of course you can. I'll add you back in a sec. All right, one more minute.
Maria,
Yeah.
I'm like, if you could tell us like the best notebook, like decorated notebook judging tip, like that would be like cool.
Yeah, I can definitely do that. Maybe at the end of the lesson, I'll go through some note-taking tips with you. But I know that there was a question from someone whether I would be recapping all the past few weeks. So what I've done is I've broken the lesson down into half-an-hour increments, and I hope that you guys have questions because I know you have mocks. So if you have any questions pertaining to creative writing, comprehension, in the last half an hour, if I go over time, please let me know and I'll cut it off. And I will give you all the answers to those questions, just so if you're freaked out about mocks. Please don't be. Take it easy. I'm sure you guys will do fine.
Maria,
Yes?
how much minutes does it take to write notes?
How long did it take me to write my notes? Let's see how many notes I did. How many pages today did I write? I did 1, 2, 3, 4 pages. I did 4 pages, and that would have taken me maybe half an hour.
Oh, what?
Is that a really long time?
No, it's a really short time.
Okay, well, remember I've been wasting my time on my drawing since I was in high school. My teachers definitely did not like that.
Maria,
Yes, last question before I start my lesson.
for when Melvin told me about the note-taking app, it says that it costs $12.
It absolutely does. I think mine was a bit more expensive because it was, I think, 2 years ago, but yeah, Notability is like $12, I'm pretty sure, on the iPad. Okay, so remember, last half an hour, if you have any questions, please shoot them through, say them. I would prefer hands up because my eyesight is very bad and I actually struggle to read the messages on the screen. So if you could hands up any kind of questions, I'll get to you. All right. I hope you're all good. I'm going to mute you now so that we can start. Oh, I'm excited. Okay. So I've forgotten how to mute, but that's okay. We'll get there. Oh, there we go. Okay, so today we're going to be going through persuasive writing, obviously, to start off with. And we're going to be following on from last week's lesson, which is talking about the appeals in which you can take when you're writing. So we talked about ethos, pathos, and logos last week. And this week is what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the approaches that you can take when you are persuasive writing. So there is a difference between an appeal and an approach, okay? So, and of course, I will go through that difference very soon. Okay, so the two approaches that we're going to be focusing on today is going to be empathetic and sympathetic, okay? So firstly, you probably should want to know what empathy is. Empathy is your ability to understand and share feelings. When it comes to empathy, an emotional appeal is necessary, okay? When you write with empathy, it shows your readers that you understand them, okay? So I've left all the definitions on the page, but if anyone is struggling to see them, please message me in the, or put your hand up. That would be really important. Okay, so moving on. When we write with empathy, it shows our readers that we understand them. And when a reader feels as though they are understood, they begin to develop trust. Trust is absolutely essential, as it means that your audience is likely to respond to your argument in a positive way. I have a couple of ways in which we can write or take an empathetic approach. And I want you to know, like I said last week, when it comes to narrative writing, this process takes planning. However, it doesn't necessarily mean that if you walk into your mocks and you get, oh, actually, I'm pretty sure, I don't want to say anything, but I don't think you've just started persuasive. So it'd be a bit weird if you got persuasive. But hypothetically, you walk into the GATE exam, you get a persuasive question. It is unlikely that you won't be able to take an empathetic approach if you don't plan, if that makes sense. So I know that I'm raving on about planning, but let's just say you panic, you don't plan, and you go into GATE, then it will be okay. This stuff is easy and you probably already know it. Okay, so on page 1, there isn't very much except for what the definition of an approach is, or what I myself consider an approach. Now, an approach is how we structure, compose, and detail our argument. It's basically just exactly what we're writing and maintaining and making sure that every single aspect of what we're writing kind of suits empathy or being empathetic towards our audience. Now, when it comes to your audience, you can't be empathetic if you don't know your target audience, which is what we were talking about last week, okay? So if anybody's forgotten anything about the target audience, let me know. I'm pretty sure after I went through it with you last week, it's still in my head. And finally, before I move on to what we need to do to maintain an empathetic approach, why would you choose an empathetic or sympathetic approach? Frankly, why not? In both cases, you're either gaining the trust of your audience or you're manipulating your audience onto your side. So manipulation is a strong word, but technically you are. I find that when we take sympathetic approaches in writing, and if anybody needs a definition of sympathy, oh yeah, it's there, awesome. When we take sympathetic approaches, we're kind of almost guilt tripping our audience onto our side, because we're I've never liked a sympathetic approach. I feel like it's quite cruel. It's very like you take a position that is above your audience. It's like you know what's going on, but your audience doesn't. It's very condescending and patronizing, which is why I don't like a sympathetic approach, and it always leads to alienation. Okay. Which kind of gives it away, the fact that I feel like I'm more of a empathetic writer. So I'm gonna scroll down. Please no one freak out and tell me to scroll back up. I hope everyone took their screenshots by now. So here we go. We have a very lovely diagrams that I spent maybe 10 minutes on. Clearly you can all see why I, wasted my life away in high school drawing. Anyways, number 1 is you want to visualize your audience. In this empathetic approach, you are attempting to be empathetic by placing yourself in the reader's shoes to share their experience. As stated last week, this comes back to how well we know and understand our target audience, okay? So just recap, target audience is just the demographic or the group of people you're aiming your argument at, okay? So ask yourself, what is their age, what their gender is, what is their hypothetical job, what might their level of education be? These are all factors that are going to manipulate, that are going to alter the kind of vocabulary that you're using and make your writing more empathetic. Basically, well, it is an empathetic approach, so I hope it would be empathetic. So even if the audience's even like audience's interest would be important in this case, because why would they care about your argument if it wasn't necessarily an interest for them? Okay. So another aspect of this is not necessarily just understanding, is understanding their fears. Is not necessarily understanding their fears, but knowing what their fears are. So if you know what your audience's fears are, it's very likely you can provide a remedy for this in your argument. Okay. To write with empathy, you should also be using but this brings us to number 2, and I kind of don't want to go on to number 2 if anybody feels like they have questions about number 1. So I will take a hands up for number 1 if anybody is concerned about visualizing their reader. I'm going to go like 20 seconds for that. No, I feel like that was pretty self-explanatory. Oh, Aaron, question.
Say for the gate marker, what type of person do you think like that person would be?
The gate marker?
Yeah.
Well, that's very difficult because sometimes it doesn't make sense to aim your argument at the gate writer, because the gate writer would be looking to see how you aimed your argument at whatever audience you picked. So it doesn't even if you pick the gate writer, it doesn't mean it's going to alter your marks or make them any better, if that makes sense. In fact, half the time when I was writing, I never picked the marker as my audience. Maybe in creative writing, the marker was always my audience, but in persuasive writing, I would always choose my own demographic, so my own age group, as I felt like I could achieve, or as I understood them better. And as I was saying last week, pick an audience that you understand properly. If that makes sense. But I feel like I didn't necessarily answer your question. I kind of diverted you, but that is my advice for that.
Maria, can you quickly scroll up so I can quickly take a screenshot?
Scroll up. I will go back to it later. I'm going to leave it on this page now. There's only 4 pages, so it won't be hard for me to scroll up and down. Okay. So I will get to that person soon. I'll only take questions if your hand is up now. Sorry, it's just because the audio just goes back and forth. So if you have a question, please put your hand up. Amy, question.
Is the first one about the personality of the character?
You can definitely take into regard the personality of your character. Sometimes of your audience, sorry. Sometimes that can be a little bit difficult. If you're, but the example that I'll give you now is, some of you should have seen this example before. It is called Simply the Best. It was used in NAPLAN a very, very long time ago. In fact, it was used during my year 9 NAPLAN, okay? And I basically had to argue that something was simply the best, and I chose a TV show. Now, my audience was obviously people who were interested in the crime genre and watching crimes and mysteries. So to answer Amy's question, the only reason I understood my audience's personality was because I was part of that audience as well. So if you feel like you understand your audience, then I guess you should naturally know their personality. In a way that when I understood my audience's personality way back when in year 9, it definitely helped with empathy. So thank you, Amy. That was fantastic. I never would have mentioned it if you hadn't brought it up. Now the Zish question about visualizing your audience.
It's not about that, but for the The conversational tone.
Conversational?
Yeah. There's the cross, and then what's the end word? I can't quite see it.
So you have conversational tone, then underneath you have use complex words sparingly and be concise.
Oh, sparingly. Okay.
All right, moving on, Joshua. No, maybe. Joshua? No? Oh, hands down. Abzik.
Why is there another hour under education level?
Whoa. Oh, well, I guess that leaves space for me to put personality. Good catch. Thank you. All right. Final question from Nabazish, if it has something to do with visualizing your audience. Oh, and also iPhone, your hand is up, but I'm not sure whether you're asking a question because it's been up since the start of the lesson. No, maybe? Okay. Gayatri?
I have a question. What does it mean by avoid jargon?
Okay, well, that is nothing to do with the first question. I will get to that after I've gone through conversational tone, but don't worry, we'll go through those techniques in a second. Okay, so moving on, to write with empathy, you should definitely always be using a simple conversational tone, as if you were talking to a friend, okay? So you want to replace complex words with simple ones. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't want to see interesting formal language. It doesn't mean that you don't get to use all your fancy words. No, I'm saying don't overload your text with them. Just because you know it doesn't mean you need to use it, okay? Use the complex words just as sparingly as your oh yeah, use complex words sparingly. I think I already put that down, so remember that. Okay. Instead of there is like simple diction changes when it comes to maintaining a conversational tone. So think about the most basic way you can say something, like essential. What would the synonym, the most basic synonym of essential be?
Important.
Thank you, Advik. Absolutely. Yes, so think about the words that you know the most basic synonym for. Obviously not all of them, but in certain cases, think about that and use them, because that will help you maintain a conversational tone. It's not every day I talk to my friend and I'm like, ooh, I wish you serendipity on this very long quest of yours on the way to school. I don't talk like that, but I would exchange it and I'd say, you know, good luck walking to school. It's really hot. Okay. So think about that, maintain a conversational tone. I'm more likely to like your writing if I can kind of feel like you're talking to me. Yeah. So you're not distancing yourself from me. Okay. Let me think. So we anything else I need to cover with conversational tone? Okay. So yep. Okay, I'm happy with conversational tone. I noticed that there are hands up. So Amy, question?
Are we not meant to use like good words?
No, see, you definitely are, but I'm asking you to use them sparingly, because sometimes when we know a lot of interesting vocabulary, we can get overwhelmed ourselves and just start putting them in every opportunity we can. And that can be very overwhelming for our audience. Okay, so think about if you were having a conversation with someone, would you use all that fancy terminology?
No.
No. So when we are trying to take an empathetic approach, we're more conversational. Now, if you were taking any other approach, then maybe you would have a lot more interesting vocabulary, like an overwhelming amount. But because it is an empathetic approach, and because we need to be conversational and make friends with our reader or our marker or our audience, then we use complex language sparingly. So not as much as, not as much, but just don't overuse it is my point that I'm trying to make here.
So not to use it a lot.
Yes, so pick your moments. Okay. Navazish, question. No? Okay, Gayatri, question.
Sorry,
Oh.
I had my hand up from before.
No, that's okay. All right, so the next one is jargon. So I'm pretty sure Gayatri asked me what jargon was like a couple minutes ago. So we want to avoid jargon when we are writing. So what it is and how you can avoid it when we are using empathetic, when we are using an empathetic approach is that jargon, in its most basic way of saying it, is specialized language. So the same way medicine has vocabulary associated to it, like very clinical words, and I probably shouldn't have used medicine because I don't know anything about it, but the same way the medical profession has vocabulary attached to it, that would be considered medical jargon. So words that can only be used for medicine. Okay, that's the same way that there are only certain words that can be used for particular topics. Does anybody have an example? Because I'm running a blank as a card and I would love help. No?
For killing, you would only use things like blood and associated with killing.
Good. So you would only use words associated with violence and with murder and very heinous acts. Yes, fantastic. Thank you. Okay. So now don't disregard jargon from other approaches. So like Amy asked before, she asked, so should we not use complex words? The point is to use complex words, but not a lot in an empathetic approach. So because we're taking an empathetic approach, we would avoid jargon, but any other approach you're more than welcome to, okay? Just so that clears that up, because I don't want 100 people being like, but is it a good one? Will I get marks for it? You definitely will get marks for it, as long as your approach isn't empathetic, okay? So, so a writer will use jargon to appeal to a specific group. Like I was saying, if we're talking about murders, you would use language associated to that. The specific group would be murderers. I love that that's the example I have to use. And most of the time, it's really just to embed hidden meaning for that particular group. Don't freak out. There's nothing you really need to know there. So when it comes to jargon also, it tells us something about the target audience. And I think that's pretty obvious if it's for a specialized group. Okay, moving on to, I think number 4 should be cliches. Yes, it is. Now, to maintain an empathetic approach, we want to avoid cliches. Cliches are overused terms that have lost their descriptive power. If anybody is confused by what that means, please raise your hand and I'll do my best to explain it in a second. So, they should be avoided at all costs. So cliches are the enemy. Let me just say it one more time so that I can be absolutely sure we get it. No cliches, no cliches, no cliches. They are the enemy of empathy. In fact, when I see cliches in persuasive writing, in any kind of persuasive writing, regardless of the approach, I get really annoyed. I just find it very yuck. I feel like it's been used as, well, that is a cliche. It's like a band-aid when you haven't thought through what you're doing. Okay, so why do I hate it so much? Empathy requires us to understand and relate to our audience. So how would you feel if you were upset and someone said, oh, it's always darkest before the dawn, or don't worry, it'll get better? How would you feel if you were super duper upset about something and someone said, don't worry, it'll get better? Does that sound like they understand what you're going through? Does it sound like they're willing to give you advice? No. Does it sound very friendly if they're like, oh, don't worry, it'll get better? It absolutely doesn't. It breaks tone when you use cliches. And furthermore, just to use my exquisite language, furthermore, when we use cliches, we are creating distance between ourselves and the audience, all right? So let me see what else you would need to know. So when we use cliches, it shows our audiences that we don't really understand our problem, and we're going to be generic and say whatever we need to get them to understand our point. So when we use cliches in like any other approach, let's say you don't take an empathetic approach, that would show your marker that you haven't thought through your argument, okay? You're finding something generic to cover up detail that you haven't really thought through. And I don't have an example for it right now, but like I was saying, those booklets will be done and they will have the examples by Wednesday. So no one freak out. Don't worry, you'll all get a copy because Melvin is in charge of dropping the copy. So that's not on me. Okay, so apply. Why is that? I'm sure apply isn't your name, but it must be your screen name. Question.
Like, I still don't understand.
You don't understand what a cliche is?
Yeah.
Okay, so a cliche is just an, how do I explain it so it's like an overused term, okay? So it's like, have you heard of cliches before?
No.
Oh, so let me think of an example. Ooh, In the Nick of Time. Have you heard of that one before? When someone says, you got there in the nick of time. No?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, I heard a yes. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, another one. This is the one that I use. This is the cliche that I use over and over and over again. I say actions speak louder than words. That is a cliche. Although it is very, very true, it is still a cliche. It's still a term that is used by so many people over and over and over again. Okay. Have you heard? Another one that I'm pretty sure most of you would have heard is "Don't judge a book by its cover."
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I'm sure everyone's heard that one by now. If you haven't, read more books. You can't judge a book by its cover. Basically, I'm pretty sure the meaning for that is quite clear. That there's more on the inside than there is on the outside. But the point I'm trying to make here is that it is an overused term. And if I see something like that, I would prefer in a persuasive text to actually have you say, it doesn't matter what is on the inside. Oh God, no, it doesn't matter what's on the outside. It matters what is in the inside. I would prefer for you to write down the meaning than actually cover it up with the cliche.
Maria.
Okay, thanks.
Someone said Maria and then I lost them completely. Aaron, was that you?
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, you know the cliches, aren't they like, aren't some of them like idioms kind of? Because like, isn't a don't judge a book by its cover an idiom?
Is don't judge a book by its cover an idiom? Is don't
No, it's not an idiom.
I wouldn't consider actually, you know what? I think in this case you might be right. I think it is an idiom, but don't take my word for it. Definitely let me think about it. But as far as I know, it is an idiom. There is crossover, Aaron. I could not tell you what that crossover is. That goes well beyond into the laws of English, laws that I sometimes am always butting heads.
We can search it up.
Aaron, if you are wondering, then I think in this case, yes, don't judge a book by its cover would be an idiom.
Okay.
Thanks. I searched it up on Google.
Great. I'm very interested to know why you wanted to know that. But yes, it is an idiom. Sharon's iPad, next question.
What do you really mean by enemy of empathy?
Enemy of empathy. So do we know what an enemy is?
Yes.
So it's like someone you're like let me think. What do I mean by
It's the opposite of friend.
Well, yes, that is how you would say it, but I'm trying to get the proper definition. It is the person who opposes your who opposes you, basically. Sharon's iPad. I'm pretty sure Sharon is Sharon your name, or is it Sharon?
Wait, like a nemesis. Sharon.
Sharon, awesome. So I was joking, guys, don't worry. Okay, so enemy just means the person who opposes you, but what I mean by enemy of empathy is that it just goes against empathy. It breaks it. It will fight against empathy, meaning it will destroy any kind of empathy that you're trying to create.
Oh, like they don't fit.
Yes. So not so much that they don't fit, they will fight against any other empathetic aspects that you have. So let's say that you visualize your audience, you start using vocabulary that relates to their education level, you get to know their personality, etc. You write all about it. And then you throw in a cliche. That would destroy any kind of empathy that you've already built.
Oh, okay.
No problem. So, Neil, question. Oh, whoops.
I accidentally put my hand up.
No problem. Amy, question. Oh, it's 6:30.
Are we supposed to use cliches in our writing or not?
If you are creative writing, I will absolutely be happy to see one cliche per story. If you are persuasive writing, no. I'm sure that there will be people who argue me on that, in terms of like tutors who would argue me on that. But in my personal opinion, when I see it, I think that it shows that you haven't really thought through your argument and you're using it as a band-aid to cover up any detail you haven't thought through. That's my personal opinion on it.
Meaning for it.
The exact meaning of a cliche. Cliches, they are overused terms. That is literally the definition of a cliche.
Thank you.
No problem. Alina, question.
What does it say? What does it say? Like pretentious language is trash. What does it mean by that? Like, does it mean?
Oh, jargon, right? Oh, I don't think I really went through that properly. So, that one is applicable to the sympathetic approach, and I think I accidentally added it to empathetic, but pretentious language is trash. Basically, what I'm trying to say is when we use jargon, it can sometimes make us look like we know more than the reader, and that can come across as very condescending or patronizing. That's what I mean by that distance.
Well, basically what I was trying to say is, does pretentious language basically mean jargon?
Oh, no. So pretentious language would fit under jargon, but do we know what pretentious means?
No.
Okay, well, we'll start there. Pretentious just means that you're trying to impress. So you're attempting to impress to show that you are of great importance.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're attempting to impress by showing that you are of great importance. I'm pretty sure pretentious means. And if anybody wants to go over that later, please let me know whether I got it right.
Thank you.
Surprisingly, all good.
Repeat that.
Shri. Question.
Nothing.
All right, and Sharon's iPad, you still have your hand up, so if you have a question, please let me know. Advik?
Could you please repeat the meaning for pretentious? Sorry.
Yeah, of course. Pretentious just means, oh no, attempting to impress by showing you are of great importance. Oof. Okay, we are at the 30-minute mark, and I will now take hands out for any questions that are unrelated to empathetic approaches. I didn't get time to go through sympathetic, but you can read all about it in the booklet when they're out. So if anyone has questions about mocks or anything like that, and if I don't get a lot of questions, then I'm probably going to go through what a sympathetic approach is. Navazish, question?
Yeah, my question is that what does
I didn't go through anecdote.
Yeah. What does eco and logos mean?
Oh, okay. So pathos, ethos, and logos. Unless you know what pathos means.
Oh, keto. Yeah. I don't know what that means either.
Okay, so pathos is like you're trying to show emotion.
Trying
Ethos,
to emotion.
yeah.
And then-
So pathos is an appeal to emotion. Logos is an appeal to logic. I'm pretty sure. Oh, yep, that would make sense. Logos, logic. And ethos is an appeal to ethics, so a person's character. I hope that covered it. Amit?
Yeah.
I just had the same question as him.
Okay, no problem. Abia?
So there's gonna be like math and English in the mock test. So like, will you mark the English and Melvin will like mark the maths, or like Melvin will mark the whole thing?
I'm pretty sure Melvin is going to be marking all of this. If he asks for my opinion on anything, I'd be happy to give it, but he is highly capable of marking all of this. Sharon, question.
If I'm writing like a narrative, what do you expect me to start with in a narrative?
So if you were writing a narrative and you want to start, what would I expect you to start with? Honestly, that depends. I'm someone who really loves statements, questions, and quotes as my narrative openings. And I usually follow either after my statement, question, or quote with a description of the setting in which my story occurs, if that makes sense, where it's set. That's me personally.
Could he start off with like the setting?
Of course you could. So how I usually structure it, we didn't go through some, it's okay. We ran out of time. That's fine. So how I would usually start it is I would put my, call it my narrative. I'd put my quote, statement, or question. I'd put my quote, statement, or question there. And then I would start my main story here. And this would be where I start with I really overload the figurative language in my setting. That's me. That's what I usually do. Do you have any other questions about how to start like that?
Could you also start with like speech or something?
Could you start with dialogue?
Yeah.
Oh, could you start with dialogue? Honestly, that's based on circumstance. It would depend what you're trying to, like, what kind of dialogue you would say. Frankly, I guess maybe I might be biased in a way, I'm not sure, but I don't like starting off with dialogue because I'm not sure how dialogue can hook the reader. So if your dialogue is going to hook the reader's attention, then absolutely. If it is just going to lead into something like maybe the action, and your action is the part that hooks, then no. Make sure that your dialogue is going to hook your reader's attention.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No.
All right, fantastic. Soha, question.
My question is, tomorrow, are we going to be doing a persuasive?
I don't know. Is that Melvin's class?
Sorry?
I saw someone nod. I'm taking that as a yes. Is that Melvin's class tomorrow?
Yes.
Yeah, so that would be in his control. I'm not sure what he's doing, but I'm sure he will make sure that you guys are primed and prepped for marks. Any other questions about that, Soha? About the narrative or persuasive, anything to do with marks?
No, but can you please go to the first page because so I can take a quick screenshot?
Of course. Ardvik, question.
I've got a question about the narrative. How
Of
do you
course.
start with a quote?
How would I start with a quote? So I would take the main idea from my story and find a quote that reflects that. Okay. So I guess Sohar, I hope you've taken a screenshot because I'm gonna change the document very quickly. Okay, so give it a sec. Okay, so I'm pretty sure I've made you guys go through this with me in 1 week. The main idea of this short story, or an idea that I can kind of remember it to be about, was survival, right? Oh, well, I guess you wouldn't know unless you've read it. So if my story is about survival, Ardvik, I then find a quote about it, such as, give me 2 seconds to think about it and I'll show you.
Yeah.
Oh, well, if I could spell, that would probably help you guys out. Oh, that's not helping. Okay. Oh, that did nothing. Okay, so Ardvik, that would be the quote that I would use for my story because it relates to the main idea, which is
Yes.
survival.
In
So-
this one, you didn't start with menu. You start with action. Is that okay as well?
That's absolutely fine. The point is, I use these narrative openings, a quote, statement, and a question, because I found that they're helpful for me in terms of hooking my audience. It's just one way to do it. Okay, I think they're the best, but that's because I'm probably biased. But action would be fantastic. Dialogue that hooks would be fantastic, and figurative language that has been overloaded in the setting would also be pretty awesome. I hope that covers it for you.
Yeah, thank you.
No
Hurry up.
problem. A beer.
Can we start our story with like onomatopoeia, like in like the action paragraph, like?
Can you start your story with onomatopoeia in the action paragraph? Okay, it depends on what kind of onomatopoeia. As long as it's not like slap, kabang, pow. Like think of actual, like get a list of onomatopoeia and find words that aren't overused. Like, actually that's terrible advice. Yes, you know what? You can use onomatopoeia to start your story off. Okay, Amy, question?
Is it okay to start your narrative writing with like the main point of the story?
What do you mean by that? You mean the main idea? What do you mean?
Like what's actually gonna happen in the story?
See, I still don't like is that the action part of the story, or are you gonna narrate and this is what is gonna happen? Like, what do you mean?
To start off like to start off with the actual point of the story and what's happening.
To start off with the actual point. Okay, I would need to see an example for that because I'm not sure if you mean the action or the moral. I'm not sure what you mean. If you could like write me a little bit of a example in the chat, I will put my glasses on properly and I will take a look at it.
Like the action?
Yes, so give me an example of what you mean by starting a story off with what it's going to be about in the chat, and I will read through it and I will come back to you and figure out whether or not you can. Sorry, I wish I could have been more helpful with that, but an example would really help me with answering that question. Ahmed.
Can I have two questions?
Yeah,
The first one is that do you give a title for the GATE exam?
You should put a title for every single story you write ever. In fact, they're so important, and I would get into the habit of it. I lost a mark in my final year 12 exams because I didn't put a title on my story. My final exams, I didn't put a title on my story and I lost a mark, okay? That was devastating. So now every time I write a story, I put a title. And even if it's very cringy, it makes me come back to it because I dislike how much it cringes me out that I rewrite a better title for it. So yes, Ahmed, always put a title for your stories.
Okay, and the second question is, if you're like starting your story off with a quote, do you do you name the person who quoted it?
Okay, well, I make up all my quotes. So I always put anon at the end, ANON, which means, I'm sure you know it means anonymous. But if it is by an actual person, if you magically remember a quote by, a literary icon, Hemingway, Edgar Allan Poe, Margaret Atwood, drawing a blank on C.S. Lewis. If you remember any of those, any kind of whoever wrote the quote, if you remember who it was by, then absolutely put the person down, please.
Maria.
I don't know who said my name. Elena, was it you?
Yeah.
Do you have a question?
Yeah. What happens if you write like you know a quote but you forgot who it was from, or you like know a bit of the quote but you don't know who it is from? Like, do you say like a bit from the quote and you know what the bit from the quote is? Do you still write the name down even if it wasn't exactly the quote?
Well, you absolutely can, but because I am a literature fanatic and I have a lot of respect for literary icons, I suggest that you just put a non at the end of it. But it works either way. Completely up to you with that one. It's okay. And remember, I made up my quotes for my stories, so it doesn't matter whose name is at the end. As long as you do put a name at the end, then you're all good.
Thank you.
Okay, no problem. Neelam, question.
Can you scroll up?
Soha, I will was that Soha who asked?
No,
Oh.
it was Shivani.
Oh, Shivani. Yep, I can scroll up one page if that helps. Or do you need another? Okay. Neelam, question?
When you write a story, a narrative or anything, can you start off with someone saying someone saying something?
What do you mean by like dialogue? Is that what you're asking?
Like I'll send it to you in the chat.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. If examples are actually a much better way for me to give you advice. So it will take me a while, but I will read through anything that anybody sends me. You'll just have to wait for me to, read it with my very blind eyes. So yes, Neelam, if you put it in the chat, I will do my best to read it. Sharon, question.
If we had to write a story in 25 minutes, like do we use like the first 5 minutes to like plan out like what to do?
Okay, well, I have never, so this is gonna, it's not controversial, but I would say that I always had, and I think I've talked about it in a couple weeks ago, I always had pre-planned plots. So whatever idea came up, I had a plot to fit it. So I never really had to plan too much. And in fact, I feel like you should kind of almost get into the process of planning in your head when it comes to exams where you don't have a lot of time to write stories. You should be using the full 25 minutes to write the story and then edit your way through it right at the end. Normally you take like 2 minutes at the end to edit, I would say. But if you feel like your grammar and punctuation is okay, then you would use less time for editing. But if you, yeah, sorry, I keep cutting you off when I talk. If that's Sharon that I'm cutting off, I apologize. I'll just, sorry, I'll quickly get to my point. Point is that if you feel like you need to plan, then don't let me discourage you. Absolutely plan, because you're much better off planning if you have no idea what you're going to write about. Okay, as long as you get a page and a half, you should be okay.
So do you expect us to like, how much time do you think we should edit for?
Oh, that changes depending on what you believe your punctuation and grammar to be like. I know for myself that when I'm writing, I will tend to miss words because I think either my hand is moving slower than my brain, or my brain is moving too fast, whichever one, I miss words. And another thing that I will do is I'll read very complex sentences under my breath to make sure that they make sense, because sometimes in your head it makes sense, and then you read through it and you're like, oh my god, what did I just put down on this paper? So yes, I think that again, it's based on what you think you need to do, but 2 minutes shouldn't be too bad, I think.
Okay.
Can you please scroll down?
Like down this way, or do you mean like down this way?
Yeah, that
like,
way, yeah.
Okay, that was scrolling up.
And yeah, down again. For techniques.
So to the techniques. Okay, well, I'm not sure how much help that's going to be. Sorry, it's just that this one I didn't get all the way through. They will be ready by Wednesday. Vinuti, question. No. Okay, cool. Soha, question.
Maria, for the quotes, if you remember a quote but you don't remember the author, are we still allowed to write it and just put anonymous, or do we?
Can. Yeah, that's like, again, I made up my quotes. I think the rules are fine. Just as long as you put someone's name at the end, it should be okay. But even then, like I have read stories where the quotes at the beginning of the short story, there was no real author. They just put initials, which I thought was really cool because I didn't know who they belonged to. I was like, oh, that's fun. So yeah, don't worry too much about the name at the end, whether it's a real name or it's a made up name. The point is that the quote you choose encompasses the ideas that your story will be discussing.
Maria.
No problem. Pav, question?
Off one page?
Please, absolutely.
Maria.
Yes.
Sorry to disturb you again, but my iPad's a bit.
Okay. Yep, if you leave, I'll add you back in. Don't worry.
Okay, thanks.
No problem. Advik, question.
Two questions. Are you gonna go through the last 2 pages next class if we have a next class?
If we have a next class, that's sad to think about. I hope this isn't our last class, but I think I'll be back next semester. Yes, look, if I am back with you guys next sem, fingers crossed, then we will be going through Persuasive in more detail, and I will probably start with this again and the things I missed. But if you you'll get this before the end of sem anyway, Advik. I won't need to go through it because all the information I would have gone through today will be in that booklet. All you have to do is read it.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have any questions? Yeah. Advik has a question. Do you have a question about creative, Advik?
Yeah. With the quote, do you have to like put the name after?
No. Like I said, there have been some short stories where I actually haven't read the name after the quote and it's still been okay. The point is, as long as the quote has the ideas, the main ideas of your story, the main idea of your story, like how I showed you in that example.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maria?
No problem. Yes, question.
Is the booklet going to be digital or on paper?
That is a Melvin question. If I had a choice, I really, really wish I could see
Paper.
all of my notes on paper because my drawings today they brought their A game. But no, I reckon it's all going to be digital because it would take a lot to print, especially with all the color that I've been using.
Okay.
Anish, question.
Repetition.
So will we get a topic on what we're writing, or do we get to pick what we're writing for the like?
In GATE, well, I think that Melvin will actually give you a topic, and I'm pretty sure in every GATE exam you're given a topic you're not allowed to choose.
Understand.
You are given a topic.
You
Maria,
aren't? Wait, did someone say aren't as in AREN apostrophe T?
You are. You are.
You are, thank you. Great, yes. You are always given a topic.
Maria.
Someone keeps saying Maria, I'm not sure who it is. Aaron, is it you?
Yes.
Yep, awesome. How can I help?
So for the for persuasive stories, do you need like a specific vocabulary to make it more interesting?
Can you repeat the question, please? Sorry.
Like for persuasive stories, do you need like a specific vocabulary?
Well, firstly, it's not a persuasive story. It's a persuasive text. Yeah, just make sure we have that one down pat. With a persuasive text, you do need formal language. And like I said, when you have when you know your target audience, that will determine your vocabulary and the language that you're using. Like we talked about today, if you're taking an empathetic approach because of said target audience, you're more likely to use conversational language and use your complex language sparingly.
Oh yeah, and also Maria, like for persuasive text, is it okay to use like fake information? Like, is it bad to use fake information?
Fake information in persuasive?
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm pretty sure. Okay. Well, I think that I was taught that you can make up.
What are the rules of the subject?
Maria?
Hold on. I am pretty sure that you are allowed to make information. Sorry, you are allowed to make up information for persuasive text. But obviously, if you know a bit about the topic, why would you need to make that information up, right? And that's hard to determine with persuasive, which is why you which is why you would make it up anyways. I'm pretty sure all the information I used to write down up till year 9 in my persuasive, I'm not sure how I got away with it. I would make it all up. Like all my stats, all my facts, just made up. I hope that answered your question. Oh, Cristiano?
Oh yeah, Maria.
Mm-hmm.
I just joined Loyola Tutoring.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't learn that much about persuasives and narrative.
Okay, so you just joined.
Yeah. I only had like 2 classes.
All right, and I assume you're sitting your mocks with everybody else?
Huh?
Are you sitting mocks or are you waiting till next sem to do mocks?
I'm doing mocks on Thursday.
You're doing your mocks on Thursday. So you basically need a crash course, right? So what I would suggest you do is, unfortunately, I don't.
Maria.
Hold on. Do you mind if I finish this first? And I will get to soon. When it comes to crash courses, it's very hard to do for English, especially creative writing, because we've had multiple lessons. But what I can do is, if you are sitting at Thursday, I can just send you the separate PDFs outside of the booklet that I've already given the rest of the class.
Okay.
I can send you the separate PDFs, and you will get the full booklet from Melvin. Hopefully he passes you that on Wednesday. But if you want the separate PDFs, please drop your email in, just you, because I think everyone else would have had the those ones sent already. So just put your email in, and that is pretty much a little bit of a crash course of everything I've been doing this past couple of weeks. Don't focus on persuasive for, oh, actually, maybe, I don't know what Melvin said about what mocks and persuasive, but I would actually recommend that you focus more on narrative and the narrative things that I've been doing the past couple of weeks, Cristiano.
Okay. Where do I do my my mail thing?
If you could please put it in the chat, that would be fantastic. And I'll just send that to you because I think everyone else will get all the booklets put together on Wednesday.
Make sure it's not an education account, because then it's not going to send.
Thank you. I was literally just about to say that. I don't know why my tutoring email won't send to education emails. No idea why, but that's just the case. Thank you so much if you've done that. And also, guys, that's just for Cristiano because he joined like 2 lessons ago, and he'll need the documents that we've already gone through in class. Okay. So, Pav, question.
I don't have a question.
All right, Shri, question. You had a question. I know you cut in before, and I said I'd come back to you.
Cristiano, like he should do Khan Academy then. That's
For
what
English?
Yeah.
Khan Academy for English?
Yeah, there's a lot of good videos.
For English? Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, I passed my maths from year 8 to year 10 by using Khan Academy, so I am a big preacher of it. I haven't actually had the opportunity to go through for the Khan Academy English stuff, but if Melvin recommends it, then I genuinely think that you should also go through that as well, Cristiano. Oh, wow, I just looked it up. They have some awesome stuff. Okay, I'm going to do that later. That's like weekend plans. Don't worry about it. I know, quite annoying. Nichelle, question?
Can you please scroll up?
Yes, I can. So, there you go.
One more. Are you just gonna let everyone ask questions? Are you gonna say any of the other tools for persuasive? Because it's 7 o'clock now.
Yeah, look, I wish I had gotten time, but I also know that people had questions about mocks, and I'll keep taking those questions until people want to go. So don't worry, I will be here. If you want, very quickly, I can explain anecdotes because I feel like I just left it. So very quickly, before I take any more questions, let me just run through anecdotes. It's so simple, like it takes like 2 seconds, and I should have done it before, I'm sorry. When it comes to anecdotes, I'm not gonna ask if you know what an anecdote is, I'm just gonna give it to you. So an anecdote is a little personal story that reveals a personal history with the issue. What you want to include in an anecdote is a story, and I would recommend that you draw from real experiences, because if you don't draw from real experiences, sometimes that can create distance between you and your audience. Again, the story loses their personal touch. I've done that before. I've made up anecdotes and they never go my way. I don't know if it's because maybe I'm just not good at making up personal anecdotes, which would be someone who asked me whether you make up the information. This would be one of the cases where I probably shouldn't have made up my information because I genuinely did lose that personal touch, okay? The next thing would be to draw a conclusion from the story. So don't have a whole paragraph that's an anecdote, okay? I'm looking for at least 1 to 3 sentences for an anecdote. Summarize it and tell me what the moral is, as long as the moral relates to or helps with your argument. The next thing you want to do is pick a tone. I either go for humorous or serious when it comes to my anecdotes, but again, tone would be determined by the target audience. And number 4 is keep it short. Like I said, 1 to 3 sentences. That is it for personal anecdote. In terms of an example, if anybody is looking for an example, before I said that the example I was going to go with was Simply the Best, okay? And I would probably argue my favorite TV show, and I did in year 9. Believe it or not, I argued what my favorite TV show is, okay? So, example, and if anybody wants me to write this down, please let me know. I will do it at the end, which means you'll have to wait for it. In year 12, I'll just start the example. I'd been attempting to nail the noir genre for my final exam. Stressed and highly anxious, I was missing the mark. I turned my TV on and switched off, or so I thought. Lo and behold, Castle had my back with an anachronism episode. Brooklyn, 40s, hard-boiled PI Rick Castle, femme fatale Kate Beckett, and the answer to all my problems. Not 10 minutes in of listening to that also mellow voice, I had everything that I needed to nail noir. That is, unfortunately, a very true story. For my final exam, I wanted to write in the noir genre. I was really struggling to develop my tone and figure out what the conventions were. I should have gotten someone to help me, but I didn't have a tutor at the time. So what I did was I gave up and I turned the TV on and I started watching Castle, and they did an anachronism episode. If anybody is confused about what anachronism episode means, it's just an episode that's set in the past, okay? And luckily it was a noir episode, and I copied mostly the tone, the characters, the conventions, all of it. And it just saved, it was a saving grace. So that is a personal anecdote. That is a personal story that relates to my issue. Well, not so much issue, but argument, which is that Castle, the TV show, is simply the best, okay? Because it helped in my education.
Wait.
All right.
Oh.
There's an
Wait, what's that
question?
mean?
Maria?
Copyright?
I don't know who's asked the question, but please
Maria.
ask away. Oh, Anish question, yeah.
Would that be copyright, or are you just?
Oh, no. Okay, so I didn't write about the episode. So I listened to the way he was talking, and then I made my detective talk like that. So it corrected my syntax and my punctuation, my grammar, just the vocabulary they were using as well. I realized that it was actually that episode that made me realize that when you are creative writing in a particular genre, you do have to search up vocabulary that is associated to genre. Otherwise, you're not going to nail it, which is why I'm such a big fan of Castle, because it literally saved my composition story in my final exam. Guys, don't copy stories. That is copyright. Hold on, there are a bunch of questions. It's already 7, so if the lesson is over, but I will be taking questions, okay?
Bye.
Yeah, you're more than welcome to go, but I'm going to keep taking questions.
Okay,
bye.
Maria.
Yep.
Bye, Maria.
I understand what
Maria.
Maria.
Okay, guys, hold on. When if you're going, yes, goodbye to everybody, but you all don't need to say goodbye when people are asking questions, okay?
Maria.
I'm sorry. Yes,
I had my hand up, but you must have not seen. But
yes, I definitely didn't. Sorry.
No, but because I wanted to know what an anecdote is, because I didn't really get it.
So an anecdote is a sorry, I'm just like watching all of you. I just looked back at it. An anecdote is a little personal story that relates to that will relate to the issue or the argument at hand. Would it help if I wrote down the example?
Yes, please.
Okay. Another question. Okay, I will choose then. Vikash, question? No? Abia, question?
I have 2 questions. Is that all right?
Of course it's all right.
Okay.
It's fine.
So, you know, like the information booklets you're sending out?
The ones that I'm going to give to Melvin, they're not, they're just like a composition of all the collection of all the notes we've been doing. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm on Saturday class. So will like Melvin give me the notebook, like give all the Saturday students the notebook, like at the class on Saturday?
That's a question for Melvin. The point is that Melvin will have those booklets from me by Wednesday. If and when Melvin is available to send them, he will do so.
And my next question is that what type of writing are we going to do in the mock exam, if you have any idea?
That seems like a question from... for Melvin, but I also feel like you guys have been focusing on narrative writing for a long time. I wouldn't be shocked if it was a narrative, but I also feel like I can't tell you that, but I also don't know at the same time. So if you feel like you've been focusing a lot on narrative, maybe that's what it's going to be.
I last term it was narrative, so I'm guessing it would be persuasive.
But this term, then like Melvin, he taught us all narrative. So, and he said it's most likely going to be a narrative.
Oh, okay. If that's what Melvin said, listen to Melvin because he's the one who is in charge of the mocks. So ask him any kind of questions to do with what's going to be inside it. Okay. I actually don't have that information. Cristiano question, and then I will take the last few questions.
You know the document you were gonna send to me?
Yes.
Could I do my mail on the WhatsApp group? WhatsApp?
Oh, I won't get it then. Sorry. I'm just on here.
Send it in the chat.
Oh, yes. Thanks, Shree. That would really help if you sent it in the chat. I'd be able to send it to you. And that's just all the stuff we've been doing on the past few weeks. Also, these notes, this particular booklet is not going to be sent until the booklets are put together because there's a bunch of information that I said out loud that, again, I didn't put down, okay? Like it's quite difficult to write down everything I mean all the time because I have to come up with these things on the spot sometimes. So for the people asking me to send them this booklet, it's not going to happen until all the information I have is written down, and that's going to take a long time. So, and, also, by a long time, I mean a couple hours.
Yeah. I forgot my mail, so I don't actually know what to do.
Okay, that's all right. I'll talk to Melvin after class. I will give him a couple messages in regards to you and the fact that you have to sit mocks tomorrow, even though on Thursday, even though you have only been to 2 lessons. But look, what I would suggest is also, I'm pretty sure Melvin would put some of this stuff up on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should definitely go through past lessons. And they don't have to be lessons that I've taught. If he's put them there, go for it. Like he recommended to the rest of the class, go through Khan Academy. That would really help and focus on narrative and comprehending questions.
I think I know how to help Cristiano.
Yeah, of course. If you have something to say to him, I think that would be great.
Like, I think you should give him your email. And then when he finds out his email, he can email you.
That would be good, except I am not in charge of my email. I send my documents to somebody else and they send them out. So I guess you know what? Yeah, you know what? That's actually not a bad idea. I'll do that for now. It's not like I'm going anywhere tonight. So give me 2 seconds. Thank you for that, Shree.
And make sure he takes a screenshot of it.
Yeah. Okay, if anybody has any other questions, please let me know. Besides that, the class is done. Oh. So do not be stressed to leave at any point. I will be here for the next couple of minutes. Just sorting out the example and sending.
Maria, is it okay? Is it okay if I don't do if I don't do that good in my writing? Is it okay?
Oh, well, as someone who loves literature, I would be devastated if you were like, oh, that's okay, I didn't do well in it, I'll move on. No, try your best, obviously. The point I'm But I think that it is important that you do well in your writing. I think you should always aim to do your best in every section. I feel
Sorry
like a
about
very
the noise.
generic answer. That's
Sorry
okay.
about the noise.
That's okay.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. I definitely didn't give you my email, but I will try. Okay. Any other questions? No. All right. Well, I'm going to be here writing the example down. So if anybody has questions, call them out because I don't think there's anyone else left. Or not a
Maria?
lot of people left. Yes, question.
If you want a quick tour of Khan Academy, I can give you one.
Oh, no, that's okay. I think I'm going to spend a little bit of time going through it. I think I have a younger brother who I think would benefit from it. So I'm going to make sure he goes through it.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Suat graduation.
Thank you.
All good. Okay, that is it. I will see you guys when I see you guys, I guess, if this is the last one. Okay, ciao, ciao.